attitudes are changing because people are realizing that actually, you perhaps don't have to wear a tie for work, or perhaps you can conduct that meeting via Zoom. So I think attitudes are changing naturally with COVID and with the transition back to, I guess, normal life.
Now, as we mentioned in our Round Your Way section, a survey suggests almost a third of workers want to ditch formal dress codes when they return back to the office.
And 1 in 10 surveyed by recruiter Randstad said they'd replace formal office wear with shorts and flip-flops if they had a chance.
So has our attitude to workwear changed, and should it change? Joining us now is counselling psychologist in doctoral training at the private therapy clinic, Jade Thomas. Hi, Jade. You're looking fabulous.
She never says that to me. Why don't you say I look fabulous?
This is sort of work for you, and you've made, you're very well turned out, and you've made a great effort. How important is it?
That.
I was trying to justify why I was just not giving her a gratuitous comment, which she actually deserves. So, how important is it to sort of get you look smart, look the part when you go to work?
I think it's quite important because, a first impression is everything. And I think with people transitioning to go back to the office, you don't want to look like you've been slacking. And I think it's really important to obviously still be comfortable, because that's probably what you're used to if you've been working from home, but still be presentable. And I always, when I'm working with clients online, I always say to act as if it would be in person, even if it is online. So I think keeping that in mind is really good.
Jade, a little bit of private consultancy here between me and you, if I may, even though we're on live television. Should a daytime television presenter wear a tie or not?
I think that's completely up to you.
Well, it might not. You say that, but actually bosses may have a view.
Yeah.
So some workplaces, they have quite a strict code. But is there a way to approach your boss and say, to take an example as
Surf's up, man.
Say, I don't want to wear a jacket anymore.
I want to put some shorts on. I think faster in flip-flops, which is probably true, actually.
Is there a way to approach your boss if you wanted to do that and say, look, this suit and shirt and tie thing is not working for me?
I think having an open conversation, as long as you've got a justifiable reason for that, rather than, I just want to be comfortable. I think as long as you've got a good reason for it, then having an open conversation with them, if they're open to have that conversation, can maybe get the ball rolling.
But I do think social norms are changing. The idea of somebody appearing on television, as I do every day here on GBNews without a tie, just, when I was a kid, would have been almost unthinkable.
In the olden days, when you were
back in the Paleonthic era, when me, who doesn't look fabulous ever, was a wee lad. So I do think things are changing, and I do think COVID has changed a lot too, Jade. And I wondered if you agreed, because the idea of being at home in your dining room table in a Zoom call with your colleagues at work, ordinarily, many of us would have been in, a nice trouser suit or a work blouse and jacket, or a suit and tie for the chaps, and yet you're in your t-shirts, because to dress up in that stuff at home, you might have done it for the first few weeks of lockdown, but to do it when you're in lockdown and it would have just been completely mad. And for most companies, or a lot of companies, they've managed to carry on doing what they were doing. It hasn't affected productivity too much. So I think the combination of a generational shift and the pandemic really will mean a shift when we all get back to work properly.
Yeah, definitely. I think things have changed with COVID, and it's, attitudes are changing because people are realising that actually, you perhaps don't have to wear a tie for work, or perhaps you can conduct that meeting via Zoom. So I think attitudes are changing naturally with COVID and with the transition back to, I guess, normal life.